Alright, hello, welcome back to another Monster Legend video. In this one, we're basically going to be looking at all of the new sneak peeks about all of the new Mythic monsters that have been leaked. So I'm going to go through all of the move sets, of what's been released that is, and all the traits and stuff, and just basically seeing what these new Mythics are all about. Seeing if they're good, if they're worth your time, worth your gems, worth your effort, stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first one here is Siberial. It's saying here that it is part of the upcoming marathon, which I believe starts on the 29th, if not the 1st of March. Right. Okay, here we go. Siberia is a metal attacker with multiple tortures and heavy attacks. She can apply nanovirus, shock, and bleeding, or gain a skill mirror and damage increase. She has an evolving trait. Hardened at rank 0. Not too bad. Kind of average. Immune to possession at rank 1, again, kind of average. Rank 3, Taskcaster Precision at the start of the battle. Here's a few things to keep in mind. Mythic monsters can only be ranked up with their own cells and Mythic Amber. Mythic cells are not tradable or shareable. You can only have one copy of each Mythic monster. This monster won't be available through direct purchase. You'll only be able to get it inside the event. Right, okay, so it's like Forsakens in that way then, where you can only have one copy, they're not shareable, and you can only get it through this event. So it's basically the same as what we've already had through, Forsakens and that. But yeah, let's have a look at the skills. Now, bearing in mind, we have figured out from a forum post from the devs that they're only going to have 8 skills now, and they're all available at rank 0. So no matter what rank you get, these are the skills that you're going to get. No matter what rank you get. So freeway on the grid applies metal weakness to all enemies. It's average. It's not something I'd probably run. Games, that is a very, very creative name. SP, good job. Deals heavy metal damage to one enemy. Applies nanovirus to one enemy. It's average at the moment. No cooldowns I'm seeing though, so I suppose if you get your cooldowns activated, this guy will be set, I guess. It'll be interesting to figure out whether these have 0 stamina cost as well. So if their cooldowns activated and they have no stamina, they'll still be able to do something. I'll give you games. Deals moderate special damage to all enemies. Again, just kind of average. Against Mega Taunts, it probably will do a lot more damage, but we'll see. Reconstruct it. Applies skill mirror to itself, applies damage boost to itself, requires cooldown. Not a very good skill. Positive effect removal is everywhere in this game now, so just not even having positive effect protection or anything, is not particularly useful. URCLU applies metal weakness to one enemy, gives one extra turn, requires cooldown. Not too bad. One of the better skills we've seen thus far. Probably something we'll run. But again, nothing too fancy, nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah. Fight for the users. Deals very heavy metal damage. Applies bleeding shock or to one enemy, requires cooldown. This is probably their big hit. This monster's big hit. It's alright. It counters extra turners. Adds a couple of DOTs. Does a lot of damage. Good when combined with URCLU. With the metal weakness into the very heavy damage. But again, anticipation exists, so giving an extra turn to yourself probably isn't a huge deal. Anyway, yeah, moving on. Playing all the angles, deals moderate special damage to all enemies, applies bleed to all enemies, requires cooldown. Just an average AoE DOT skill. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too particularly fancy. Not really impressive considering dodge area and mega taunt exists, so you're probably not even going to hit everyone on the enemy team, or if you do manage to hit everyone, there's a very low chance that you'll actually hit bleed on all enemies due to hardened, tough bulwark existing. So yeah, not really too happy about that one. And then finally, the perfect system deals heavy metal damage to all enemies. Applies nanovirus to all enemies, requires cooldown. Yeah, again, another average skill, nothing out of the ordinary. AoE metal damage, AoE nanovirus. Again, same issue as the one before though. you're probably not actually going to hit everyone because of dodge area, mega taunt, hardened, bulwark, tough, stuff like that. So those are the moves for Siberial. Considering her trait and considering her skills, I'm not happy. As in, I'm not, confident that this monster is going to be good in any way, because the skills are just average, the trait is just average. I think they're trying to test the waters with the release of the new Mythics, so they're going to start off slightly weak and move into something more powerful. But at the moment, this is not particularly interesting for me. So if your team is on the verge of actually actively attempting this race or not, I'd probably lean towards not doing it, mainly because I don't really feel like this monster is worth getting a high rank for, especially since she is just average, and probably won't see much use in the current meta, not gonna lie. But yeah, the special, let's go over that quick. Applies True Vision to itself, removes all negative status effects from itself, deals heavy metal damage to all enemies. Even the special is not particularly, interesting. It's just an AoE heavy metal damage, really, which is guaranteed to hit with True Vision. And that's literally it. So, yeah, I kind of agree with the stinky remark here. And yeah, let's move down. Make room for Mythics. Yeah, we know that. We're going to get 4 Vault Keys. Anyway, next up. Okay, these 2 monsters here are going to be in the Legends Pass. Armor Claw is going to be available free to play rank 0 in the free bracket of the pass. Katufo is going to be available for the spenders who purchase the Golden Legend Pass, and so you're going to guys get this one rank 3. I'm just having a look now to see if there's a trait. It doesn't look like there is. So for these two, we don't have a trait. We just have the moves at the moment. But yeah, we'll have to see, what happens in the future with that. So Armor Claw here. I like these names, by the way. Nice reference to a certain someone up in the top right here. But anyway, let's move on. Chest Opening, which is was a chap, but let's just deals low fire damage to all enemies, applies burn to all enemies, requires cooldown. Not a fan of that. Of low fire damage, not a fan at all. So that's a pretty irrelevant skill. Monster Analysis, deals monster special damage to all enemies. Not particularly useful. In fact, this is looking very similar to a certain other skill from a certain other monster that we've just seen. But yeah, I hope what I've just read is a typo. But here we go. Ideal You deals heavy fire damage to one enemy, applies Ignite to itself, requires cooldown. I really, really hope that is a typo, and that is applies Ignite to one enemy. However, I am going to review it as it's written. Do not run this skill. It is really bad, as I'm sure you are aware. Just do not run that skill if you do end up getting Armor Claw. Monster Review deals low special damage to all enemies, increases his maximum life by 50%. That's interesting. This makes me want to lean towards Armor Claw being a tank. Increasing his maximum life by 50%, or at least having a very, very tough life. But let's move on. Pursue, spelled wrong, your passions. Applies damage boost to itself, heals itself by 30%. Not useful, really. Kind of underwhelming skill, doesn't really do too much, but it's there if you need it. It's a quick heal, it's a damage boost, not too bad. Save Rossi God, nice little quote there. Deals moderate light damage to all enemies. Applies sunburn to all enemies. Restores all cooldowns on itself. This is the first skill where I'm like, yeah, you should probably run the skill. Deals moderate light damage, AoE light damage, AoE sunburn, restores cooldown. Yeah, pretty good. Good skill, that one. Get your cooldowns activated. Well, no, you can't use that. It's got a cooldown, isn't it? But either way, you know, it's a pretty good skill. I would recommend using it because if you use your other skills and then come back to this one, you can then use your other skills again, which is really useful. So that's probably a good one there. Remember to subscribe. Remember to subscribe. Deals heavy fire damage to one enemy. Applies burn to one enemy. Average skill. Probably going to run it since it's got no cooldown. Definitely over the ideal you. Definitely over that one. Finally, dream big. Applies taunt and skill mirror to itself. So yes, this will be a taunt/tank monster. Just a case of, you know, figuring out what the trait is and figuring out if it's an actually good monster or not. Unlike the previous Siberial, which is average at best, honestly, and isn't really worth going for. Armorclaw, however, you are only going to get rank 0, but again, we'll see what happens once we know its trait, see if it's actually worth getting or not. It'd be a shame if it's not good, considering this is Armor's monster. But again, you know, we'll see what happens. And then Katufo. Again, we do not have the trait, sadly. We've got more stuff coming on, but yeah, no trait for Katufo at the moment. Smells like fish spirit. Deals moderate water damage to all enemies. Applies drowns to all enemies. Classic AoE. Average. Nothing too fancy so far. Tuna rice. Low thunder damage to all enemies. Applies daze to all enemies. Not a particularly useful skill considering it's low thunder damage. Probably won't be running that one. We have Bream Slap. Deals very heavy water damage to an enemy. Applies drown, shock, and daze to an enemy. Requires cooldown. Pretty good one. Single target, very heavy water damage. Drowning, shocking, and dazing the enemy. Pretty good. It's probably something you would be running. Next up, Mako. No, sorry. Perfect Katak. Nice there. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies. Shocking and dazing the enemies. Pretty good. Considering the other skills we've seen, definitely one of the better skills. Probably going to be running that one. Moving on, Mako. Deals moderate water damage to one enemy. Applies stun to one enemy. Spammable stun. Single target. Pretty good. If you want a spammable stun skill, not too bad. 1 life left. Applies precision and immune to control to itself. Requires cooldown. Not a fan of this one. You get the precision and immune to control, but again, positive effect removal exists everywhere, so it's just going to get removed. So not particularly useful in this current meta, but we'll see what happens in the future. Electro Mayao, I think that's how you say that. It deals heavy special damage to one enemy, applies stun and shock to one enemy, requires cooldown. It's not a spammable stun, but you do get the shock. I'm not sure if you would run that one over Mako, mainly because getting a spammable stun skill in is better than doing a little bit extra damage and shocking. But again, I suppose I can see where that can come in handy, and I see where this might be used, especially against extra turners like Mad Infusion or turn transfer monsters like Samuel the Plague Carrier, stuff like that. I can see where it can come in handy. Kid Cat. Final normal skill here. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies and applies stun to all enemies. Just a classic AoE stun. Not particularly useful. However, it's probably one of the better moves that this monster has. So, for the moveset on this guy, again, we don't have the trait yet, so I can't make a final judgment, but based just on the skills alone, I'd probably, from the top, I'd probably start with Bream Slap, Perfect Katak, maybe Mako, depending on, I suppose, the speed of this guy. and one of Electro Meow or Kid Cat. Probably Kid Cat, mainly because it's an AoE stun. That is quite useful. So the AoE stun, single stun spammable, AoE shock daze, and then single drown shock and daze. That would be my skill set for this guy. Of course, again, we don't know the trait, so final decision will be left to you guys when we know the trait. The special skill deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies, removes positive status effects from all enemies, applies stun twice to all enemies. Not particularly useful considering it's only moderate damage, but again, you actually remove positive effects before landing stun twice, and landing stun twice means that you've got a higher likelihood of landing stun, which is really useful, so that's not too bad. Anyway, moving on. Laser Beam Dungeon, that's coming up. There's 50 cells available if you've been doing the progressive event. You should have 50 from that, if you've been spending, of course. If you've been doing dailies, you should be up to like 24, I think it is now, because it's been about 7 days-ish. So you should be about that. And then these should give you the last 50 cells to rank him up to rank 1. Here we go, Legends Pass Season 6. Season 6 of the Legends Pass is here with more rewards than ever. Users at the free Legends Pass, here we go, can get a new mythic monster, Armor Claw. There you go, it's confirmed. You will be getting Armor Claw for free if you complete, you probably need a lot of points, but if you complete the Legends Pass, there you go, a free Armor Claw for you. With the Golden Legends Pass, you'll also unlock the chance to get another new rank 3 mythic monster, Catufo. I'm not sure how to say it, but I'm sure it's one of those. You also get a skin for Catufo. I'm going to say Catufo. That'll be interesting to see. And a Barbari emblem to reduce the cost of heroic orbs and rid you of rank requirements in Barbari's dungeon. Classic. Barbari's not the best War Master, although he's not too bad. His traits immune to torture and damage mirror, which is not too bad. Getting immune to torture can negate some teams' strat, so it's pretty good. Not the best one though. I'd rather get Ragnarok Orthodox first, and then probably get like Sherazar or something, but still not too bad. Here we go. Another of the rewards in the Golden Pass is the Maze collects tickets, but remember you can only have up to 30 of them. I'm not sure why they've introduced that, but there you go. You can only have up to 30, so just make sure you spend them before getting new ones. And then check that you got the latest version of the game. Yeah, blah 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 blah. So yeah, 2 new mythic monsters for 1 in this one. It'll be interesting to see what they're like in practice, and especially seeing their trait, because from the skills alone, they're nothing particularly, interesting. Nothing particularly OP. But I think I've said this before. I think SP is just testing the waters with the new release of Mythics to make sure they're not too broken when they're first released. But that's that. Anyway, moving on. We have one more Mythic monster here. Introducing one of the first Mythic monsters. Get her from an exclusive offer. It doesn't tell us what this offer is. I hope it's not you must just spend money to get this guy or girl, but again, I guess we'll see. Anyway, the trait. Where is the trait? This one in particular is a mechanical celestial being with impressive wings and light weapons to ensure that justice and compassion reign. Okay, so from the this little dialogue, I suppose. I assume we, winged book, mechanical book, and then probably good legions, considering that she's got justice and compassion. I think those will be her 3. Also, one thing I do want to note is, will there be a new book, a new mythic book perhaps? That would be interesting. I'd love to see that. But anyway, moving on. Her stats are outstanding, apparently. We'll be the judge of that, SP, don't worry. She has an evolving trait. A rank 0, immune to daze. Pointless. Rank 1, immune to blindness, not particularly useful. And at rank 3, you get Status Caster Evasion, just for itself, I think. Yeah, just for itself. So the trait, I'm not particularly impressed with the trait. It's kind of pointless. Immune to daze, immune to blind. I mean, it can be useful, but at the same time, there are definitely better ones with immune to control, immune to torture, stuff like that. Much better than immune to daze and blind. Not impressive unless you get to rank 3 with evasion, but again, positive effect removal exists, so it's just going to get removed. You know, it's not great. But anyway, let's move on to the skills. Dreams of Salvation deals moderate special damage to all enemies. This is pretty much the same for all of them except Kitufo. Monster Analysis there deals moderate special damage. It seems to me that a lot of these mythics are getting a moderate AoE special damage. But again, we'll see. Indulgence deals moderate fire damage to all enemies, applies burn to all enemies. You know, AoE burn, not too bad. Better than Angel, heavy light damage to one enemy, sunburn to one enemy. Okay, no cooldown, spammable, pretty good. You know, that's all I can say really. It's alright, it's an okay skill. Artificial Sun, moderate AoE light damage, AoE blind, AoE sunburn requires cooldown. That's pretty good. AoE blind, AoE sunburn. They've got a DOT on them and they're probably going to miss a lot of their attacks. So yeah. Eyes of a Sinner. Yeah, not really much I can say about that one. It's just a good AoE, blind and sunburn. So yeah, Eyes of a Sinner. Heavy light damage to one enemy, blind to one enemy. Pretty good, pretty good. Seeing all blind, you know, not too bad. Compassion is weakness. Applies Evil Legion's Hater to itself. Gives an extra turn to itself. That's okay. There are a lot of good Evil Legion's monsters in the game right now. So giving yourself the Hater to that an extra turn is pretty good considering of the other skills that she has. However, anticipation it does exist a lot in this game right now, so that's something you've got to watch out for if you do run this skill, which you probably should. Holy Circuit removes all negative status effects from itself, applies double damage to itself, requires cooldown. I'm interested to see what the cooldown is in this one. If it's like a 1-turn cooldown, this skill's really good, but I've also seen skills like this that have got a 3-turn cooldown, in which case it's really bad. So if it's got like a 1-turn cooldown, run it, because it's pretty good. If it's got like a 3-turn, like a 2 or 3-turn cooldown, I wouldn't run it. It doesn't do that much for that cooldown, if that makes sense. And then moving on, Virus Trick. This is the final skill. Normal skill that is. It deals very heavy light damage to one enemy, applies sunburn to one enemy, blocks all damage except from the light element. That's pretty good. You're doing very heavy light damage, applying sunburn, and also negating all damage except from the light element. And considering this is a light monster itself, the only damage he's going to be taking will be halved anyway. That is pretty good. So that is definitely a skill you'd want to run. As for her actual total moveset, considering her trait, considering her moves, she's pretty good. However, I would also I would run probably Elvira's Trick. That's a pretty good one. Compassion is weakness, the extra turn, Evil Legion's Hater. I would also run Artificial Sun for the AoE blind and sunburn. And depending whether or not Holy Circuit is a 1-turn cooldown, I'd run that. Or if it didn't have a 1-turn cooldown, I'd probably run Better Than Angel for the 0 cooldown skill. So there you go. That's that. Moving on to some lesser news. Got a Zenfera path. If you've got a Zenfera and want to rank her up, now's your chance. There's that. Same with Rubellus. There's a chance to rank him up too. So yeah, if you want to rank them up, go right ahead. And finally, we've got a Froma quest. A new quest is about to start. Make sure you're ready to breed a bunch of top monsters and even attain a new one, a Froma. But that's not all. The quest days are coming too, bringing you the opportunity to get monsters from all the previous quests Don't miss this chance. I'm interested to see whether Froma will be a mythic. I think they probably will be a mythic, considering all the new ones are going to be mythic. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, that's been me. The new mythics, especially the first 3, not particularly interesting, especially Siberia with the marathon. Although I'm not surprised that Siberia will be bad, but hey ho. Armor Claw, however, is kind of interesting. I'm interested to see his trait though, especially Katufo as well. These are some very interesting ones. But anyway, this has been me. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.